the whole divestment program to enable persons who worked in the industry for many decades and centuries to eventually own the land where they are living in the whole process of divestment. And that process started really in about 2000 and initially 2006. The certificate of possessions were issued in 2015 by then Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller. And that triggered the formalization of the area in terms of the surveys, the allotting, etc., etc. The original population in Clifton was smaller at that time, but there were some lands to the southern section that was deemed unfit for agricultural production, and therefore it was incorporated in the new boundary. We believe in a structured development. Clifton community represented those that have been at the bottom in the agricultural sector for years, those who work on the farms, etc., and pay the lease. That's the background. Now, when we started the regularization exercise with the letters of possession being issued, we spoke about and sought to put in place infrastructure. Now, as you never said, but all the infrastructure that is there, basically the livable one, is through whatever allocation I get and through the councillor for the area, with the level of roads, water supply, etc. Having sought to ensure that Clifton develop in a structured way, I saw that area you referred to outside the boundary being pegged out and activities seeming to take place there outside the boundary. The fact of the matter, Prime Minister, SCJ knew this all along. SCJ knew it all along. Others told them, I told them, as you said, what is happening there from last year, from it started. SCJ failed to do nothing about it. To the point that I alerted you that SCJ has been failing and continue to fail to do anything where a new community is springing up and I can't speak to it because I don't know about it. That's why I go to SCJ. I have always made myself available to be engaged with the state entity to move the communities in my constituency forward. In the case of Clifton, it's the same thing. It can't be left to appear as if SCJ was being a diligent superintendent of the lands over there and what was happening. They were not. And their intransigence, I believe, and I've said it to you, have to compound the problem. Because when one person start doing something, 2 more, 4 more, and nothing don't happen, it is deemed to be okay. Because the authorities knew. My interest in that, if the authorities are going to be complicit with it, make sure you go and put in the requisite infrastructure to support it. Roads and water and so on. Because if those are not done, it's going to fall on my shoulder as the Member of Parliament. And the question would have asked, what did you do? I made that representation to SCJ over and over. The council for the area did the same thing. The morning when the demolition started, and I got calls from there to advise me that persons with letters of possession were said to be demolished. That's when I called SCJ and said, how are these people going to allow these people to be affected? Because all persons with letters of possession have been deemed to be ones that are to be beneficiary of the land there. It's on that basis I asked them to cease the demolition in light of that information which came to me on the morning, which I subsequently relayed to you, that caused the suspension of the action. Yes, I don't support the agricultural lands being arbitrarily used for building houses. But some of them said to me, but MP, why not? The government take Bernard Lad's land and plant houses. So they saw inconsistency there. But beyond the point, it has to be done in a structured way. The residents of Clifton, who are all honest working Jamaicans, and you don't tell me one community that don't have criminals in it, even in the most affluent communities. The police speak about it, so it's not no secret. But they were offended, as I told you, about the comments being made that the community was embracing criminals and being controlled by criminals. They were very, very offended by that, and they said that they would want you to make an apology for making that inference in Parliament where you did it in the first instance to equalize the prominence of that failure.